Hey there, Stanford fans. This is Abeytia for the Bootleg post-game report here at Maples Pavilion, where Stanford falls 69-67 to the UCLA Bruins on a night when a lot of scripts got flipped. Stanford came into this game the best three-point shooting team in the conference. UCLA came into this game as the worst three-point shooting team in the conference, and you wouldn't know that by watching how the game played out today. UCLA ended up plus 12 on three-point shots, and that was part of what undid Stanford on a night when, uncharacteristically, their offense just couldn't get consistently on track. Stanford also gave up a lot of points at the free throw line, going 13 of 20, uncharacteristically. Well, actually, I should say a little bit too characteristically lately. It was a game of choppiness, not a lot of stretches of sustained excellence on offense. UCLA actually had stretches of 0 for 6 on field goals, 0 for 7 on field goals, and 0 for 8 on field goals. That 0 for 7 stretch came on the game's final 5 minutes and 19 seconds when Stanford was able to turn what was a 22-point UCLA lead with 11:23 to go into a number of final possessions where the Cardinal had a chance to tie and miraculously win the game. Chasson Randle, Stanford's best player, was unfortunately not their best player tonight when they really needed him to be. He had a chance with 10 seconds to go to tie the game with a three-point shot, but unfortunately had a turnover. And then, of course, his heave at the end of the game came up just off, and it actually would have ended up winning the game for Stanford. But the two-point score is just a little bit deceiving because Stanford was just never really in its own groove. There were times when they struggled defensively despite all the UCLA scoring droughts, and then there were a lot of times when they struggled on offense. Basically, one of those things where there were just one too many things working against the Cardinal tonight. Individually for UCLA, Isaac Hamilton, a relatively unheralded player for the Bruins, really stepped up. It seemed pretty clear that Stanford was willing to let him shoot, and in the first half, they paid the price. He hit three of his first four three-point shots on the way to an 18-point night, and that really was the difference. Stanford just couldn't overcome the Bruins. They came out, they being UCLA, came out with a 7-0 run to start the half. As we said, the lead swelled to 22. Stanford did a great job of coming back. They certainly didn't give up. Tactically, if you're going to ask any kind of questions, really, it might be why didn't Coach Dawkins go to the foul game a little bit earlier and prolong the game? UCLA themselves was only 13 of 22 from the foul line, and they certainly didn't look comfortable shooting free throws down the stretch. So you can only wonder, had Stanford fouled earlier and more often, would the Bruins have made enough free throws to hold off Stanford? But the bottom line is that's just the woulda, coulda, shoulda game. Stanford now, with a game on Sunday at USC, is looking at best at its third straight week of 500 ball. So the team has definitely hit a little bit of a rocky patch here. And until tonight, really the problem was defense. Tonight was just an off shooting night on offense, and it really came to the point where Stanford's defense just couldn't do quite enough to pull it out for the offense. So it'll be interesting to see where Stanford goes from here. They're at 15 wins. They've got 8 games left. So really, if they're able to win 5 of the final 8, they should be in really good position for the NCAA tournament. The problem, of course, is one of those games is at Utah, the other one is at Arizona. So setting those games aside, you're talking about Stanford winning 5 out of 6 against the rest of its schedule. A lot of basketball still to be played, a lot of things still to be determined, but right now Stanford not exactly firing on all cylinders, but still in a good position overall. So we'll see what kind of game the Cardinal brings against USC on Sunday night. That'll do it here for the Stanford postgame report here on the Bootleg. I'm Abeytia, saying goodnight from Maples Pavilion, where UCLA wins 69-67 over the Stanford Cardinal. Until next time, Stanford fans, good night.